Now, Tommy Robinson is the founder of the EBL. He has not been asked to come out and apologise upon the actions of Andrews Breivik. The British public have not been held accountable the same way the Islamic community has been held accountable.
Ali Dawah has endorsed people who are on record as inciting violence against slaves and against other people. Tommy Robinson has not. Sorry, did I interrupt you? Tell me, Shamsi, would you allow your 9-year-old daughter to have sex with a 64-year-old man? Yes or no? Yes or no? Shamsi, would you?
I'm going to answer. What criteria you're going to utilize? Listen to my question here. What criteria you're going to utilize to say what Prophet Muhammad did was wrong or right?
Yeah.
Where's the criteria?
The criteria that I'm going to use is every modern study of childhood development. Have you got a Bible or anything?
I haven't, no.
Can I give you just one of the Gospels? Hi Bob. How are we doing? Bear with us 1 second. I will shake your hand. I'm not being rude.
Are you okay? Just thought I'd come down from Manchester. My name's Jack Khan, boxing coach.
That Jack Khan who offers Tommy Robinson fights or something?
Well, hey, that could be. Here we go.
That Jack Khan?
Yes.
That Jack Khan?
I don't offer him fights.
Have you come to offer me a fight?
No, I just come to say hello.
Because I reckon I fancy my chances actually.
No.
Thanks, Bob.
What's these books about, Bob?
These are just some of the Gospels.
Bless you, Bob.
Yeah, so we talked about them.
That's right.
You have a happy Easter.
I know who you are now, Bob. Oh, I know who you are.
You all know who I am?
I know you.
I know you. Okay, how are you?
Okay, I'm very well. You?
I'm all right, thank you. I'll shake your hand.
Yeah.
Here, sorry.
Yeah, my only grievance with Tommy Robinson is that why will he not come and say hello like you and me have said hello? That's my only grievance.
Well, I think we both know that Tommy Robinson has been built up as a hate figure by the liberal media, who have libelled him as a racist when he clearly isn't. And they have turned people unthinkingly who don't look, who don't do any research, as you and I both should, and they have gone on to then see Tommy Robinson as like, you know, a Nazi, when he clearly is not. And that's the reason why he can't come down here, because if he did, he'd be attacked.
Okay, well, why does he not come across and say, excuse me, I don't like you, I don't like your religion, I think all Muslims are bad, or that? Why does he not say it in that way?
Well, he's actually said exactly the opposite. He's never said that all Muslims are bad.
No, I'm saying...
He's never said all Muslims are bad. He said exactly the opposite.
Okay, yeah, he's got a problem with Islam, and he's got a problem with the verse of the Quran.
I have a problem with Islam.
Okay, but like I say, we are still conversing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So that's my argument. Why can we not speak? So if you've now defeated me in this argument, let's say you have, I'm not here to debate or argue, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to say you've done okay, well done. I'm not going to scream at you and I won't shout at you.
But let's be honest, you're not representative of everyone in the park, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
So therefore, pointing to yourself as an example of normal, quiet discourse like me and you are having, you can't extrapolate from that everyone else will behave in the same way.
No,
but that is what you're attempting to do.
I'm attempting to do that.
But you're not doing it very well because it doesn't work.
Well,
it's a logical fallacy to generalize from oneself, one's own experience to everyone else's experience. So that's why Tommy Robinson can't come down here. Let's be clear about what Tommy Robinson has opposed.
Well,
he is opposed.
Well.
Sorry, brother.
No, sorry to jump in.
Come
I'm saying vice versa. You can't do the exact same thing. You said that you can't generalize his experience to everyone in this park.
I agree.
Right? Tommy Robinson comes here and generalizes his experience to everyone in this park as well.
Well, hold on 1 second. Tommy Robinson, I think that it is clearly prudent and wise that Tommy Robinson doesn't come down here because
Why is that?
because
Why?
he would not be able to come down here and not be attacked by some idiot.
I'm not being rude, but
I'm not saying that. I'm not
there's
saying
guys- there's
it might not
guys-
even be a Muslim. It might be someone who's been. You might be one of these left-wing anti-fascista, white soy boy, middle-class
Why?
do-gooders
Why?
who's been whipped up into a frenzy because he thinks he's fighting the Nazis.
I'm not being
saying
rude.
that it's a Muslim that will attack him. It could be any of these
Why?
thuggish kind of
Why?
people. Because
I'm
as-
sorry if I may.
I was going to say, are you then attempting to say that there's not violence on both sides? And there's not agitation on both sides?
in what sense? With Tommy Robbins?
In the sense that if he does come here, definitely there will be someone who's a bit agitated by this rhetoric that he spills. But vice versa, are there not people who are not, you know, a bit like...
So can you tell me someone, what are you trying to suggest? That supporters of Tommy Robinson would come here and attack people? Is that what you're trying to suggest? Well, that is again a good reason for Tommy Robinson not to come here.
Okay.
Because that will create a conflict.
But then that's not Speaker's Corner. Censoring.
Yeah, but we're talking, we're talking about the fact that the gentleman asked about Tommy Robinson. Why doesn't Tommy Robinson? The fact is we can't get away from who Tommy Robinson is. He is a public figure.
But I think the reason in particular
So-
they asked why Tommy Robinson himself is not coming down is because he's very selective with who he interviews and who he gets interviewed by.
This is the point.
I'm sorry, Rajiv Pongo. I'm sorry, but you
Best
can't...
point that I've heard all day.
If it was a thing where he did come down here and interview, say, Ali Dawah, right? Who's
A man who...
He's
hold
a
on.
moderate.
Hold on one
Wait,
second.
let me finish.
No.
Let me finish.
I'll
Let
let
me
you finish and then I'll
Let me
respond.
finish.
I'll let you finish and then I'll respond.
He doesn't interview people like that.
May I
He
respond?
goes and finds people who he knows are less educated than Ali Dawah, a lot more aggravated than Ali Dawah,
Yeah.
and
Can
uses
we-
them as a reservoir.
Can I
Go on,
respond
go
now?
on.
So he's described Ali Dawah as a moderate Muslim. Let's just be clear about who Ali Dawah has been on camera supporting and naming as people that he endorses. Ali Dawah has named scholars, and I don't have those names to roll off the top of my tongue, but I have seen the scholars. He has named people who have condoned violence. I just said I don't have the names to roll off my tongue, but he is also. This is Ali Dawah. This is Ali Dawah, the moderate, who has embraced scholars who have condoned the use of violence against slaves. Incidentally, Ali Dawah is someone who has endangered 2 families for his own personal vendetta. Innocent families, by the way. And he's someone who in debate thinks that talking about masturbating over babies is a normal, acceptable way to make arguments. This is the moderate Ali Dawah. I would hate to see what you would consider an extremist if you consider Ali Dawah a moderate.
Well, here's the thing, you've just given a very kind of like vague and inaccurate representation of Ali Dawah. Right?
We'll put some
Now,
links.
you comment about how Ali Dawah has cited people who are, in your views, extreme.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Does anyone remember Anders Breivik? The guy who killed 77 Norwegians in order to stop Islam from coming to the West. He was known to have come to the UK, spoke to people of the EDL, and cited them as tutors to his actions. Now, Tommy Robinson is the founder of the EDL. He has not been asked to come out and apologize upon the actions of Anders Breivik. The
Actually,
British public have not been held accountable the same way the Islamic community has been held accountable for the rhetoric that has caused these kinds of things.
Okay.
Can you explain to me, right, how my representation of Tommy Robinson in that particular instance is different to your exaggerated
Yes,
representation
yeah,
of
I
Ali
can
Dawah?
actually quite easily because I can actually quite easily. I'll do it very easily because Ali Dawah has endorsed people who are on record as inciting violence against slaves and against other people. Tommy Robinson
Despite
has
him
not,
condemning all
has
kinds of
not,
violence and all
has
kinds of
not.
slavery.
Sorry,
Despite
did I
that.
interrupt you? Did I interrupt you? Did I
You did.
interrupt
You
you?
did.
So I'll carry on. I'll carry on. So Tommy Robinson did not and has not cited people who are inciting violence. He has simply cited people who have been critical of Islam. It is a sad fact that amongst certain members of the Muslim community, that any criticism of Islam as an ideology is in their mind the equivalent to acts of violence. And I think that that's quite telling of some kind of distorted worldview disconnected from reality.
Here's the delusion of the British public. They seem to think.
Can we not mention Ali Dawa because he isn't here?
But you're happy to mention Tommy Robinson and he's not here either.
If I may, no, you asked me, are you the guy who wanted to meet him? That's the only reason I referred that to him. I referred that he wanted to meet me, didn't we? That's all. We don't want to discuss that because he's not here. But if forget him. Forget Tom. If Tommy Robinson wants to speak to me, he has my number, he has my home address, he has my office address. Him and his boys welcome, anytime, any day. And if Ali Dawa turns up here, then you can ask him directly. There's no point us saying that he said this because he's not here.
I tried to debate Ali Dawa a couple of times, and he runs away each time I do.
He's a busy man.
But
I've never seen Ali run away.
We've got it on camera. We've got it on camera. We've got it on camera.
He'll be here, and then you can speak to him. And personally, I didn't like him when he debated Tommy Robinson, but that was my own personal reasons. I think when you have a debate, Bob, like yourself, you should be able to, like you two gentlemen are doing, one person speaking, and you're speaking, Bob. I think that's the way, instead of shouting and...
I was going to say in particular, I think this is the delusion of the British public in general. They seem to think that only certain people should be held accountable for their actions and not themselves. In particular, we'll talk about, say, these grooming gangs that are going on.
Yep.
Grooming gangs have been going on for years. Sex tourism is a big problem in places like the Philippines, and that's been going on for years. That's predominantly white males.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what makes the Islamic community so special that they need to first come out and address their sins before you?
Okay, firstly, I am not part of the... I don't consider myself to be British in the sense of the British community. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. And as a Christian, I belong to the church. So I answer for the church and the church's history, not the British public, who I consider to be in a state of apostasy. I consider them to be in a state of, for the most part, they are not Christian, they're atheist, they're agnostic. So I'm not going to defend the British community, but what I do find interesting is that you have made a distinction between the Muslims and the British, as if to suggest somehow that the Muslims are not British. I mean, do you see the Muslims as being separate from the British?
I think the Muslim people who live in Britain quite clearly identify themselves as British. Same as Ali Dawa, he'll come out and say,
so is it
everything. That is so
is it meaningful then to make a distinction like you are doing between the sex gangs of British people and the sex gangs of Muslims? Aren't the Muslim sex gangs also British citizens?
So are we trying to create a separation between Muslim grooming gangs and British supporters just generally?
Well, that's what you've just done.
Fair enough, that's what I've done, but you didn't answer my question either. So if we're gonna go into that, do you want to answer my question first? And my question was, in particular, these crimes have been going on for decades.
Yeah.
Right? And we hear often from news outlets, right-wing media, that supposedly the police do not intervene with these practices and all of these problems because they don't want to be seen as racist.
But that is the truth.
What stopped the police, the NHS, and the British public who funded and fueled Jimmy Savile's perversion for 50 years? What stopped them from stopping him? They knew.
Well, there's
is it racism?
Absolutely.
Bob,
no. In terms of
knife crimes,
in terms of let me address this question. In terms of the police not doing their job, there are countless examples that we can point to. Jimmy Savile got away with what he was doing because of the fact that he was Jimmy Savile, the celebrity, the boss. He was this person.
Not an excuse.
It isn't an excuse.
That's not an excuse.
I'm not using it as an excuse.
You are.
You're asking me. You asked me why I'm trying to answer the question. Permit me to answer the question without your interruption,
Go ahead.
Unless, of course, you just want to do a monologue. In which case, I can
let
you.
Bob.
So, and that was inexcusable. The reason why Muslims in places like Telford and Rotherham and other northern towns have not been challenged for what they are doing, and the police have said themselves that this is the reason, is that because they are afraid of being accused of being racist. That is the reason that they have said, their own testimony. Now that doesn't mean that it's right. It just means that that's what's happening on the ground, and the narrative and ideology that does that. Okay, we've got someone who thinks he's a cuckoo. We've got a narrative and an ideology in liberal society that doesn't want to call a spade and doesn't want to call a problem a problem.
Liberal society.
Yeah, liberal
Bob,
society.
may I
is
just
a
say
problem.
one
Yeah.
thing, and I'd love to say this on camera. You know what people are saying? Gangs, Muslim gangs. Let me define a Muslim to you first of all. A Muslim is a person who follows, submits to. Let me get. It's absolutely clear. You get a gang of Asians, Bob. We go and do some nasty things with a gang of girls. That's it. Why is it not classed as a gang of Pakistani boys born in Thingy? Why? This is the absolute truth, Bob. If I may, let me tell you. You tell me a Muslim who goes to the mosque, who prays 5 times a day. That's basic. Who fasts, gives charity. This is basic. This is not a religious guy. This is basic. A basic Muslim. And this is my problem with the world. Is a person who's a Muslim will go to the mosque and pray or fast. I'm sorry, but this is fact. I'll say this to the world. And then he prays, then he gives charity, he helps creation, he controls his tongue, he doesn't swear. That's a Muslim. You give me one gang of 5 people that have done that, then I'll listen to it's a Muslim problem, not an Asian problem. If you want to say Asians have been caught in Rochdale, I'll go with you on that.
The reason why it is right to call them Muslim.
No, it isn't, Bob.
May I
Can I
finish?
finish? Yeah.
I'll let you finish and then I'll reply.
So you show me 5 people who go to the mosque, who give charity, who do all the things, who've been on the 5, the basics. This is the basic Muslim, not a good Muslim, guys. Basic.
I mean,
May I reply? May I reply?
Just I'll finish that. As soon as you find 5 people like that, 5 people like that in the country, not one, you give me 5, then I'll start to answer your question by saying it's a Muslim, then I'll open the Quran gladly. You find 5 people with brown skin, Bob, that's all it is, it's brown skin. They're from Kashmir, they're from, we don't even know. 5 people or some idiot that knocks some people over. As soon as he's this colour, that's it, Muslim. Oh my God, he's a terrorist, oh my God.
May I reply?
There was a genocide last night.
May I reply?
Sure, Bob.
Okay. So, I mean, the reason why it is right to say Muslim grooming gangs. May I reply without you? Yeah, thanks. So, you know, controlling the tongue, that's what you
Sorry,
said.
Bob.
Control the tongue, be a good Muslim.
Sorry, Bob.
So, the reason why it is right to call them Muslim grooming gangs is because they aren't Christian Pakistanis, they aren't Sikhs, they aren't Hindus, and they aren't atheists. They are identifying themselves. Be a good Muslim, control your tongue. Be a good Muslim, control your tongue. Control. Oh, look, he's not controlling his tongue. This is what happens. This is what happens.
No, it doesn't happen.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Finish it.
Let me finish. Thank you. All right. So it is a slur on Asians in this country.
It's better.
To call them Asian grooming gangs. It's a slur on everyone who is not a Muslim. Now, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. It's clear. It's clear to say. It is clear to say. It is clear to say that this is not something that that all Muslims condone or all Muslims practice, and there are clearly far more examples of good Muslims. But it is true also to say that there is a noticeable sociological pattern in terms that you can identify common traits, and it is connected to the Muslim community.
I do have to ask.
Let's talk about the Christians in Pakistan. The Christians in Pakistan who are being kidnapped and raped.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, you know,
Where?
Where?
Wait, where?
Good.
Where?
I'm glad he's asked that.
Not a good.
Shall we,
Not a
Bob?
good
Let's ask that
Can I
question.
say one thing,
Yeah,
guys?
let's ask that question.
Can I say one thing? Yeah, okay. Sorry.
It's a cultural problem.
Because I feel like
It isn't a cultural.
No,
It is a cultural problem. I'm not blaming Islam.
Okay, just
I'm blaming the culture.
So now you just changed from Muslims to
They are
we're getting there.
Muslims.
Wait,
They
we're getting
are
there.
Muslims.
I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. I'm
They
really
are
sorry to keep
Muslim.
cutting you off.
Can I say
But
one
do
thing?
feel-
One thing.
You're lying to say they're not.
No, it's not. I've just got you from. This is why certain people, not mentioning names, don't talk to me. I'm a boxing coach. I've been a Pakistani national coach. I sat with all the Christians out there. We talked on how we can pay our bills. And when we talk about this up in Bolton, it's how do we work, how many hours. I'm freaked out by you parking places. I'm freaked out by the knife. I'm freaked out by the anger.
Yeah.
But listen to me. When you get a gang of people, again, who kidnap somebody in Pakistan, please show me as a boxing coach. No, we're not talking about religion. We shouldn't bring out any books. But the problem is, Bob, you've mentioned that it's people of Pakistani origin who've been caught in Telford. It's people of Kashmiri origin who've been caught in Rochdale. Yes, you're 100% right.
Are they Sikhs?
Yes. No, they're not Muslim. But
Are they Christians?
No. You tell me one person. Tell me one person. Yes, but brother, tell me one person.
Do they call themselves Muslims?
No. Listen,
I think they do.
Okay, just a minute.
I think they do.
All right.
They do.
Okay.
That's the worst thing. I don't think
Hang
they
on.
do.
I'm a
I
Man.
think they do.
None of them
Let me
have
answer
cited
that one.
anything from the
Okay,
Quran
I'm a
that
Man
says that.
United fan. All right. All right. And those guys.
That was the wrong thing to say.
Okay, so
all right, let him talk.
When one Man United
There's
fan
no
over
accounting
there,
for taste.
one Man United fan over there, right? I don't even know where Man United is though. That's the problem. I don't even know where the ground is. But one person goes and smashes a bus over there, right? That's it. All Manx are bad. Oh my God! All Manx are bad.
No,
So as soon
people
as
aren't saying all Muslims are bad.
People
are not saying all Muslims are bad. I am not saying all Muslims are bad.
So there's no kidnapping.
Hold
Let
on
me
one
get straight.
second.
There's no
We brought up
kidnapping.
this-
I was a Pakistani boxing coach for 3 years. I've never ever. I've stayed in Pakistan. All the cities in Pakistan. I don't know if you have, Bob, but I have never ever heard of that, seen that, or anything. Bob, have you been to Pakistan? And
I
seen
know
that?
Pakistani Christians.
But have you been there and seen
I know
that
Pakistani
happening?
Christians who lived in Pakistan.
But have you seen
That's
that
not
happening,
the
Bob?
same as
Have you seen that
Allow me.
happening?
Allow me
have
to
not-
reply. Allow me to reply. Allow me to reply.
Apparently,
No, allow me to
that's
reply
not
to him
fair.
and then you. Allow me to reply to
That's
him.
not a
I've
fair
sat in major
response.
cities,
That's
but
not a
Allow
fair
me.
response.
Allow me to reply.
That's not a
He's
fair
he,
response.
no. Allow me to reply.
I've
The reason I was
definitely
Allow me
said
the reason I
to
was
somehow
Definitely
Raju Congo thinks that me replying it.
Congo.
I
don't know.
Whatever your name was.
Let him reply.
Somehow my reply is unfair
back in
because
school.
I'm replying. I
Go on,
mean,
Bob.
you figure out the logic for yourself.
It's an
So
unfair-
no, allow
Are
me
you
to
gonna let me
reply.
reply as to why it's an unfair
Let me
logic,
reply
or would
to
you rather
him,
just-
Let him
and then
speak
you
first,
can
then
speak.
you
Yeah,
talk.
let me speak, then you speak.
Let him spit
So
on YouTube
let's be clear. I'm not stood here saying all Muslims are bad. This is the narrative that you're trying to use to silence people who want to talk about a real problem
silencing you. I'm
by accusing anyone who wants to talk about a real problem of some kind of prejudice, of some kind of gross generalization. I'm clear, not all Muslims are bad. I do believe Islam is a bad idea, right?
Okay.
So, but it is clear that the grooming gangs in Telford and Rotherham are Muslim.
Right.
And getting around that by saying they're Asian is to insult every Pakistani, Sikh, Hindu and atheist Asian who is living in this country. Now, you talked about Pakistan. I would invite everyone who's watching on YouTube and everyone who can hear my voice simply to go and look up reports by the Barnabas Fund, by Christian Solidarity Worldwide, by Release International, by Voice of the Martyrs. They have first-hand testimony of Christian families in Pakistan who have had their children kidnapped, raped, and forced to become Muslims in a society that does not want to listen to their suffering. They are second-class citizens there. Now,
Let Bob up. Right,
your turn.
Can I quickly ask? We brought up this theme in the beginning about taking accountability, right? And I made it quite clear that the Muslim community has been held accountable quite profusely over the actions of a few individuals, right? Throughout this conversation, I've heard you mention Christian this, Christian that, Christian this, right? Not once have you acknowledged the fact that Christians in particular are quite predominant in child abuse themselves. To the point where it's like a factory. It's been going on for decades as well. It's like a machine. They churn out abuse cases from the Christian church. So please, can you tell me, with your logic of thinking, what does that lead us towards a solution for the Christian faith?
Okay, so his assertion implies an idea that the Christian community is not held to the same account. Let's be clear. The Christian church has had its own scandal of sexual abuse within the Catholic Church. Yes, exactly. To an alarming and terrifying scale.
It's not alarming,
Society held the church to account The church has been prosecuted, the church is paying for its crimes, the church has had to acknowledge its crimes, the church has had to address its crimes. So we as Christians are not being trapped by some preferential position. But notice the difference. I am not here complaining. Notice that. These guys are complaining. They are complaining over the fact that their community is being held to the same standard that my community is being held to. That my community is putting up our hands, practicing personal responsibility, and we are saying, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Our fault, it's my fault, it's all my fault. And we are repenting for what we have done wrong. We are changing the policies within the church. We are outing paedophilic priests.
Where are the laws to stop Christians from coming across other countries into the UK?
Hold on one second.
Where are the laws?
Hold on one second. I have not sought to defend it. I have not sought to lay the blame on other people or to blur the lines. But yet here we've just seen for the last 20 minutes 2 Muslims trying their very best.
He's not a Muslim.
Trying their very best.
Excuse Bob. I think Bob is very well versed.
I apologize.
I'm gonna Bob. Bob.
I apologize.
Can I say something? I'm gonna close this chapter.
Let me finish. What we've seen.
I'm gonna close this chapter.
What we've seen is two people, one who's a Muslim, clearly trying to excuse the Muslim community. It's double standards. We don't need it. We don't need to practice it. Please notice. Once again. Where's the control of the tongue and personal responsibility?
Bob, can I just... Wait, give me a second.
I'm going to call it a day, Bob.
I apologize.
Always.
You've got this.
Bad man.
You've got this.
You're a horrible man, Bob.
Yeah.
You're claiming that we're excusing. At no point have none of us said any of this.
You tried to say it wasn't Muslims.
That we said.
You tried to say it wasn't Muslims.
We're asking in particular.
You
tried to say it wasn't Muslims.
No,
I'm saying it's
asking
people.
in particular why people aren't held the same accountability as Islam.
And I demonstrated that we
Muslims.
were. The Catholic Church is.
Okay.
And they're all Christian.
Where is the call for Christians to be stopped coming into the UK because they present a threat to our children?
Right, so let's just address that point. We actually see in the foreign policy of the British government a treatment of Christian refugees that is less favourable to them than to Muslims.
We're not going to play the victim card. You're playing the victim card with a black man. You asked the question.
Do you notice how he's trying to play the black card? He's trying to play the black card.
If you don't want to hear it,
shut you down.
But he says no race. It's no race.
guy
The guy's talking about something raging, but you want to say race. There's no race in it.
Do you want me to reply?
Bob, thank you, brother. I want to ask you a question now about Islam.
You want to ask me a question?
Yes, I want to ask you a question
I'm
about
not very
Islam.
well versed, Bob.
I want to ask you.
You're
Come
telling
on.
me that Christians abroad, the treatment of Christians abroad is the same as the treatment of blacks abroad.
That's fine. But I was making a point. No one was doing. You tried to play the race card. You got called out by your own brother. You got called out, man.
How did I get called out?
I'm going to call it a day.
He called you out.
What did he say?
Call it a day.
He said it wasn't about race. I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you this question. Okay.
But I don't.
Okay, so the question, Bob.
Okay, so it's about the hadith. According to Sahih al-Bukhari 7:62-65, narrated by Aisha, that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. I'd like you to answer me, according to what you understand the term, what does consummated mean?
We all know what the term consummate means.
That's the question. I'm not asking you a trick question. What does consummated mean?
Yeah, simple question.
No, I don't know. I am not versed on it.
Guys, does anyone believe him?
I'm not versed.
Does anyone believe him? All right, guys, I'll throw it out to the crowd. I want you to shout it very clearly. What does consummated mean?
No one's going to answer.
What?
He doesn't know.
Louder. He had sex. That's what consummated means. So we read the hadith again. Tell me if you agree with this. Sahih Bukhari 7:62-65, narrated by Aisha, that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. Do you agree? with having sex, with Muhammad having sex with 9-year-old child.
Can I quickly jump in?
I'm asking if you agree. No, I'm asking him.
No, that's fine.
I'm asking him. You're not a Muslim. I'm asking a Muslim.
Oh,
No,
we're
what-
talking about censoring,
You
but you don't want to answer my question.
I want to answer. I want
No,
finish.
let me finish.
Okay, I'll let him finish and then you. Yeah.
You never know.
Let me just be quick and put some context.
Yeah.
Because
There's a
this,
Muslim scholar over there.
No, it doesn't matter. No one is a scholar. Everybody's a
Shamsi
scholar.
runs every time I offer a debate with him.
I want to put some context.
Well, you could know more than Shamsi.
When this whole question does come up.
Is that Shams?
How are you? Did you put a video when he was running away from me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try this thing that the Prophet was a pedophile, he was this and that, right? The
Prophet you don't believe in.
No problem.
The Prophet you don't
No
believe in.
problem.
Where's
No problem.
Shamsi
I'm
gone?
answering your question.
I'm asking him.
Do you know the reason as to why pedophilia is pedophilia? That's
Okay,
why we came up with
okay.
the laws.
His brother's calling you.
Come here, bro.
Wallahi, don't waste your time.
Shamsi, the great
You
Caliph.
can come, akhi. Wallahi.
Shamsi the First, the Caliph of Speaker's Corner, the great scholar of Islam.
Ah, Shams.
Come on, Sham, you got nothing to be afraid of, man.
Can I just
Ask questions. I'm not allowed to ask
Come
questions.
and debate with me.
Okay, I just don't want to. Can I just say one word? Basically, I'm just saying.
Ask me something, because I have to go, seriously.
My question to you, my question to you,
My answer to
my
you.
question to you is: Do you agree? Do you agree
You can answer
that
my
Muhammad had? Do you agree with Muhammad having sex with a 9-year-old child?
Okay, akhi, that's this
Can I ask?
subject.
I just wanted to ask
Uh,
him.
so
if
because-
he- No, I just wanted to ask
Yes,
him.
sir.
I wanted to ask him if he knew the context as to why child abuse is actually a thing and why we instated
akhi,
laws.
No, akhi, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This subject, look,
Yeah.
it's a very sensitive subject.
And it's a very
And
sit
you know why
down
now they're
subject.
talking about it?
Yeah.
Now they're talking about it because the West have changed the law.
Thank you.
So what the West are
Thank
doing?
you.
So what he's doing to us, he's a mindset of slave master. That according to my criteria, whatever the Africans and the Asian are doing is backward. Why? Because we, the Western,
Okay.
we are deciding that.
This
So
is
Shamsi,
it.
my point
so
is-
Shamsi is
I haven't finished, I haven't
arguing.
finished, I haven't
So
finished.
Shamsi is arguing.
I haven't finished. I haven't finished.
Bob,
wait.
I am.
I haven't finished.
This is what we've been doing the whole
Yeah.
And then I'll reply.
I want to jump in and say
So
it's
now-
only been 100
He's
or
not talking-
200 years that we
Why
said
did
that
you
law
say
is
this
correct.
man is so shaky?
No, I haven't finished.
Can I ask a question as well?
So now,
Can I ask a question as well? Am I allowed to?
yeah. Now let us understand that you and I we're gonna discuss this matter. Yeah. What criteria you're going to utilize? Listen to my question. Yeah. What criteria you're going to utilize to say what Prophet Muhammad did was wrong or right?
Yeah.
Where's the criteria?
The criteria that I'm going to use
Yeah.
is every
I was
modern
told
study of childhood
by Chris
development.
is over
Just
there.
Madiwa?
Where's Chris
Studies of modern childhood development.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not objective.
He's going
Actually, a lot of it is.
No, is it objective or subjective?
asking him about knife
Of
crime.
course it's
I'm
objective.
asking
So it's
Bob
not criteria
about
because
knife crime.
subjective. You know
I'm
what I mean?
asking
Subjective.
Bob about
said
Meaning it
objective.
cannot be.
in the
No, it's not
world.
objective.
I'm asking Bob
Why?
about
Because
how
I'll tell
do
you why.
people
Let me explain to you, Bob. Yeah.
No, hold on, Shamsi. Hold on, Shamsi. You spoke now. I'm going to
Yeah,
reply.
but I just ask a question. Ask the question.
This
Yeah.
And
guy
you seem
here,
that.
So we'll do a question for a question.
That's
We'll do a question for a question, shall we?
So that,
Question for a
no,
question.
question for a question.
Question for a question.
We do that,
Why
but
can he not
Shall we do question for a question?
I see that's what I'm saying. Bob, we do that.
That's fair, that's fair,
feasible,
Shams.
okay?
Shamsi, is it fair to do question for a
Yes, no
question?
problem. Yes, no problem.
So shall we do question for a question?
But same subject. We're not talking about something.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Muhammad and him having sex with a 9-year-old
No,
child.
no,
Why do you
no,
not, Bob, why do you not sit down with us sometime and
No,
sit down
okay,
with the
there's-
brother?
Anyway,
and we'll happily,
anyway.
But we can sit down with this
Let
man.
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Right.
Is the girl? If
You've
the girl,
asked one question.
No,
you
answered
asked
it.
whether it was an objective or subjective criteria.
He did.
So now it is my turn to ask you
I
another
can't ask you that. I can't listen to this.
Hold this.
Hold it higher, brother.
Don't want to have
To be honest, I didn't want to go. So I have to.
Shamsi, you've asked the question.
You answered it already, Bob. So it's my turn now.
No,
said
you asked the question, I
you have to
answered,
ask-
so now I
you
can
have
ask
to
a question.
You answer.
Yes, but now.
So I can ask a
No, you
question.
can't. How you gonna ask questions? We still
You
talk about
have asked one question.
You answered-
I have answered the
You have to ask a
question.
question,
Now
you
I
answer,
can
that's
ask
it.
a
No, you can't ask me
question.
a question.
Oh, I can't ask him a question.
Why?
Why can't I ask you a question? Why can't I ask you a
No way.
question?
No way.
Why can I not ask you a question, Shamsi?
Finish everything.
Okay.
No way.
I want to ask you a
No,
question.
do you know why?
I want to ask you a question.
No, brother, I'm speaking. I know how to speak.
Bob, let him speak. Come on,
Bob,
let him-
Bob,
You've
Bob, the
spoken.
question I asked
let him
you,
speak, Bob,
what
then he-
criteria you are utilizing?
And I answered that
You
question.
You said it's subjective. I just answered you by saying...
I said it was objective.
No, it was not objective. You know why?
You disagree with me.
I'll tell you why.
No, hold on. 1 second. You have asked a question. I can now ask a question.
I can speak.
No, Shamsi. The reason is, mate. I know you.
I'm scared.
Shamsi, the great caliph of Speaker's Corner. Shamsi the first. A scholar of Islam is frightened to answer a question. Why wouldn't you answer my question?
Well, I can say
you know why we can have question because I can explain myself.
Shamsi, would you allow your 9-year-old daughter to have sex with a 64-year-old man? Yes or no? Yes or no? Shamsi, would you? Is Muhammad an example to you? Is Muhammad an example to you?
Okay, can I speak now? So my question
Answer my question.
No.
Answer my question.
I'm not going to choose subject, no. So I'm asking the question about the criteria. Brother.
Notice, I answered his question.
Bob, one person.
So now look.
One person.
Now I'm going to show you why I started with that the Western always think they are superior than us. They think we have to follow their way, otherwise we are backward. Did you know that?
Stop touching Shamsi.
Okay,
I'm not touching you.
Sorry about that. Just the way I speak.
Just keep your hands to yourself. I know I'm an attractive guy, but you know.
I don't know about that. Because I know you people go to Thailand, sleep with the little boys. I know you people do that. Like you're silent.
Did you hear that? I know you people do that. I know you people do that. Did you hear him? Did you hear him? Which people, Shamsi? Which people? Shamsi, why are you running? Why are you running, Shamsi? Why are you running?
I can speak someone else here.
Why are you running?
I have no problem to discuss this matter.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, Shamsi. Shamsi, is Muhammad an example to you?
He's a best example to me.
Was he a best example when he had sex with a 9-year-old girl?
Nah, let me speak now.
Okay, speak. Best example.
Okay, listen. There's a thing that Prophet Muhammad did.
Yeah.
It was what? It was according to his culture. It was not, for example of that.
Yeah.
The scholars discuss, is everything that Prophet Muhammad did,
Yeah.
do we have to follow?
Yeah.
They said no, some things Prophet Muhammad did, it was according to his culture.
Yeah.
For example of that, Prophet Muhammad got married to a woman, she was older than him.
Yeah.
Do I have to follow him in that? No, I don't have to follow him. You see what I'm saying? He will never speak about that. I don't have to follow him in that. Because why? There was a culture to get married to an old woman or to get younger. And now, about Aisha, as you have said, what is the difference between a child and an adult? According to biologists, that when a girl reaches the age of puberty, she's not a child anymore. According to Aisha, in Surah Ibn Majah, when the girl reaches the age of 9, she's not a child, she's a woman. So my question to you, if a girl...
Stop touching Shamsi.
I'm not touching you, don't touch you.
Just touch me. Keep your hands to yourself.
You know what I mean? Please. So I'm asking you, listen carefully to my question, yeah? Because the age that they set up is not our age, it's not African age, it's not the Asian age. My question, if the girl spiritually, physically, mentally ready, why she can't get married?
Okay, so the question is, if someone is spiritually, mentally and physically able to get married, why should they not get married? Of course, if someone is spiritually, physically and mentally able to be married, they can be married. But, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Who among you actually believes that a 9-year-old child who is still playing with dolls, as it says in the hadith, is mentally, physically and spiritually able to have sex with a 64-year-old man? According to the hadith, according to the hadith, as narrated by Aisha, she was still playing with toys. This is demonstrating she is not mentally able to have sexual relationships. Furthermore, Shamsi is talking about entering into puberty. Are we honestly trying to say that the best example to humanity at all times and in all places is saying that the moment a girl begins to bleed, that she's ready to have sex? I have 2 young sisters. I know very well that just because they enter into puberty, it does not mean that they are ready for that kind of intimacy. And I am backed up by every psychological study of childhood development that demonstrates that the mental faculties of a child to know right from wrong develop from the age of about 13 onwards.
Okay,
13 onwards.
Have you finished?
That means Aisha had not finished. I'm answering your point.
No, you're not answering my question. You're preaching now.
I am
You're preaching,
demonstrating that Aisha does not meet your criteria.
No, it does meet my criteria.
Okay.
Okay, no, I'm going to speak now. No, wait.
I'm going to ask you a question.
No.
No. I answered your question. I'm going to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question.
Let me talk.
I want to ask you a question. You can reply into my question.
No.
So my question to you, Shamsi,
So I can speak.
Shamsi,
Listen,
it is my turn to ask you a question. Notice, Shamsi never wants to answer the question. He only wants to ask them.
No. I'm not doing this point.
Who wants Shamsi to answer my question? Let me answer your question. Shamsi,
Just calm down. Everyone Muslim, calm down. Can I speak? Can I speak?
Answer this question.
No.
You can speak in
You
reply
made the lies
to my
against
question.
Aisha. No.
All the hadiths
Can I speak?
that show
Can I
that
speak?
Aisha was playing with toys.
Everyone can notice that he's not letting me speak. According to his logic, if the
Answer my question.
Muslims,
Answer my question.
according to his logic, not let me speak. I let him speak, even though you can see clearly. I will stop it, the Muslims. Yeah. According to his logic.
Why do you need to stop them?
Because I don't.
I notice I don't have to restrain anyone or to stop anyone.
You shout it. You want to speak, start shouting. I know because
We're waiting for you to answer my question. All the hadiths that show Aisha played with toys.
Can I speak now? According to his logic, if the girl, according to his logic, if the girl she's playing with the toys, therefore she's what? She's not ready. How many times we see women 25, 26 years old playing with toys? According to my man's logic, they're not ready mentally. It is one note in the West. In the West, she's not even married. She's married and she has her own toys. So that is illogical. She's playing with the toys doesn't make her immature. That's the one thing. The second thing, I'm not touching you. That's one thing. The second thing, and now in order for us to say what, the second point. Second point, that according to scientists, and you can do your own research, people online, biologists
Please
they say,
do.
yeah,
Please
do it.
Please do.
What I said, it's not just puberty. I said the difference between, if you go to English dictionary, what is the difference between a child and an adult? They say the child, when he enters the age of puberty, is an adult. Islamically, that is not enough for the person to get married, because the other condition, physically, she has to be ready. Physically, that is puberty. Likewise, what? Spiritually and mentally. There's one thing we have to understand. The time Prophet Muhammad, we have the Christians, we have the Jews, we have the Arab pagans. All of them lived around his time. None of them tried to use that against him. Not just them. Do you know who's the first person who used that against the Muslim about Aisha's age? When the British changed the law of the age of consent, that was 100 years ago. So my question to you, for 1,300 years, you were silent about it. So you are what? Evildoers. You knew Prophet Muhammad was doing wrong for 1,300 years. You didn't say nothing. Another time, I finished. In Britain, there's many kings. They got married to a girl who was the age of 6. The likes of the British king. The British king. Richard.
He's preaching.
No.
What's your question, Shamsi?
No, let me finish.
I'll let you finish. Last point.
Let me finish. I'm going to show the people here. There's a British king that got married to the princess of French. She was 6 years old. She was what? No, I'm not speaking that. I'm saying, no, that's one thing. You have to accept that your forefathers.
It's all right.
Let
him hang himself. Give him enough rope. Give him enough rope.
No. I didn't say that is enough. I never said that. But I'm saying, do you accept that your forefathers were pedophiles?
Okay.
Yes or no? No. Answer me.
Right.
Yes, you have to do it.
Guys.
Answer me. Yes or no? Do you accept your forefathers were pedophiles?
Guys, please note.
Answer my question. No. My question.
Shamsi, stop interrupting.
No.
Shamsi, stop interrupting. So, he asked the question.
Yes.
Are my forefathers paedophiles? But notice he did not answer the question that I asked him.
Answer my question. Answer my
The
question.
answer.
Yes or no? According to
The
British law,
question
6 years or
that I asked Shamsi, notice he's walking away. He's walking away. Why are you running, Shamsi? Shamsi, why are you running? Shamsi, why are you running away? Shamsi, come back, stop running, Shamsi. Shamsi, I'll shake your hand later. Shamsi,
I'm going to go home.
Shamsi, come on. Shamsi, stop running.
You understand the point?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
I understand both.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen.
In Africa, the age of consent is 12.
He's playing the victim card. He's playing the victim card. He's playing the victim
We have to
card.
follow his law.
Shamsi was asked a question about whether the hadiths demonstrated that Aisha was playing with toys, and he never answered the question.
Never.
The reason why he never answered the question is because he doesn't want to give credence to the evidence that demonstrates that Aisha was too young to enter into an adult relationship with Muhammad.
That's right.
A woman at 25 who plays with toys is still clearly a woman. If she plays with toys, that is the choice of a woman. But if a child is playing with toys, this is seen as evidence that she is a child. Now, he asked the question about my ancestors. By our standards today, every one of those people would be considered paedophiles.
Right.
Every one of them.
Yes.
Including my direct descendants. However, I am not stood in this park saying that my greatest grandfather is an example for humanity today.
That's right.
But Caliph the First, Shamsi the Great, that great scholar of Islam, who has been here for the last 20 minutes trying to justify the sexual rape of a 9-year-old child by a 64-year-old man, is saying that he is an example for all of you who can hear my voice. So my question to you is this. Do you want to follow my greatest great-grandfather who may have married a 9-year-old child? No, of course you don't. Why? Because he's a bad example for today.
Yes.
So why the hell do you want to follow Muhammad? He did exactly the same thing.
Yes. Right.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. The Christian Church does not claim to have the final say over every area of learning. It claims limited, conditional inerrancy on matters of faith and doctrine. In terms of moral practice, it allows itself to be informed by current learning. There are things that the church permitted in the past that it would not permit today, because our religion is an institutional religion with a corporate memory that travels through time and is able to reflect upon its practices in the past and to recognize when it made mistakes in the past. By contrast, Muslims are saying that Muhammad, unchecked, unfiltered, unchanged, is an example for now. That is a difference. It is a real difference, and it is why the Christian faith is a better moral system than the Islamic faith, because the Christian system can learn.
Right.
The Islamic system is locked into a paradigm from the 7th century.